All right. It ain't exclusive if it ain't an Emlyn exclusive. It's your boy BQ. We right here in the heart of Silicon Valley, right here in downtown San Jose, Sofa District. And we in for a treat, folks. We right here at Emlyn Labs. I got a very special guest straight from Watsonville. Ooh, almost lost my... Watsonville,
California.
Watsonville, California. We got DannyV in the building.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, man. How you feeling?
Man, I feel amazing. It feels good to be out here in San Jose because I feel like this is really like my second hometown. Really.
Damn, okay.
Since I used to live out here, like I was saying, I used to live out on Cottle, and I used to go to school out here, San Jose State. So when I come around here, I just feel like I'm at home already.
Facts.
And you know, there's a lot of locals around here that I know. I'm always around this area, around the coffee shops and whatnot. So it's like it's home for me.
Hey, man. Welcome back.
Thank you.
What'd you study at SJSU?
I studied industrial systems engineering.
Okay, so for someone like me, you gotta like break it down a little bit. What exactly is that? Just for people. Just funny. I'm curious. I just want to know.
A lot of people ask me that question. So, in simpler terms, what it is a job where you optimize a system. Right. So you look at everything in the world today. Everything is a system. If we look at Emlyn, it's a system. It has different compartments. For example, Culture Night Market is a system in its own. You have to reach out to the individuals that are going to be vending their stuff. And then you have to make sure you coordinate everyone. You're going to be here. You're going to be here. Right? There's steps to set up something like that. So what an industrial system engineer would do in that situation would be like, let's look at every piece of this, puzzle and how can we make it better and how can we make it, more cost efficient and do everything in a more timely manner. Because time is money at the end of the day.
Hey, you couldn't say it best, man. Time is money. That's interesting. So basically like project management in a sense.
In similar terms, but like, for example,
more complex.
In that sense, you wouldn't like go out of your way to go hire an industrial engineer. You know what I mean?
Like, where the project manager? Nah,
yeah,
I hear what you're saying though.
If you were in like a job site, so a lot of people don't know. I actually used to work for or intern for a company out here. I'm not gonna say the name.
Ooh,
NDA.
Yeah.
But I worked on their
system. Pay for that sponsorship.
I worked on their system, and what they were doing is they were designing printed circuit boards, and I was just optimizing their system and their production system in that sense. And it was just like every piece has a step. And from there, I just made it better and I just provided some ideas. And I think they might have gone with some of the ideas that I came with.
Man, these companies stay trying to take our shit and make it their own.
But it's dope because I'm thankful that I had like learned all that because I feel the same way that I approach that is the same way I approach my music and how I go about promoting it and how I go about, just doing everything as professionally as I can.
Yeah.
Because music in itself is a system. The music videos, the engineering, the promo, the shows, that's a whole different beast,
It is. And it's interesting you break it down like that because, you got the artists that got SoundCloud and they got, their 1-2 music videos. Yeah. It's like there's a whole thing that goes in like when you're all in, you know what I mean? And that's why it's a good little pivot, because just where I first what I was telling you off camera, like when I first heard you was when you performed at Culture Night Market at Oak Ridge. Killed it, by the way. Great stage presence. Definitely got to admit that. I was working, I was telling you I'm busy running around, but in that moment I was like, took the time to watch your performance and I was really impressed with your engagement with the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard for artists not only to make music, produce it, put the video out, but to be able to engage your community. Yeah. That's a skill in its own too.
No, I think it's something that I always took pride in is like the performances. As much as I, because a lot of my music is also produced by myself, and it's engineered. Some of my songs are engineered by myself, so it's like you as an artist, you just have to be multifaceted, and you have to make sure that you're good at, not just the recording aspect, but every aspect, and one of those is being performing. If you could perform in front of a crowd, with composure, and with the energy, then they're gonna feel that energy and they're gonna be attracted to it. That's why I see performing is like you're putting energy out there in the world, and that energy is almost like, grabbing these people and reeling them in So it's like you're performing your songs and you're giving them one of a kind experience that they're never gonna get, because every show is gonna have different energy. And it's like I was telling you, when I did the Culture Night Market, there was people that came to my shows later that week that were like, yo, I came to your show because I saw you at the Culture Night Market. And these are people that are like always, keeping up, like, oh, when's the next song dropping? So it's like, I'm thankful to have that opportunity. And anytime I have a show opportunity, it's like, it's an opportunity for me to gain a listener, and I'm going to give it my all, because I'm never going to have this chance to be in front of this person again at this spot.
You're very in the moment, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like present with your community.
I try to.
Hey, that's good, man. And just to continue elaborating on a little bit more on like the content you've been putting out, like I really appreciate, the quality content. You could tell you put your best foot forward. You got a team around you. I definitely see that, you guys are organized, and like you said, it's systems. And a lot of people kind of have to eventually do that through trial and error, right? Because I'm pretty sure there's a time period where you were kind of doing things a certain way. You realized it wasn't working. You got to like adjust this, tweak that. So like, how long did it take, from that progress to get to that point?
It's true. Yeah. It took a lot to finally get to where I am. Cause I was actually I was reflecting about, how I got here today. The quality wasn't always there, Yeah. I feel like it all started, back in 2020, pandemic. You got time in your hands to try different things out. And I was always someone, fascinated with cameras and the film look. But at the end of the day, music was my focus. So when I was getting to these videos, there was a certain aesthetic that I was going for, right? There was people on Instagram that were doing certain posts that I was like, I want to do something like that. So the whole video stuff started when I was doing this show on YouTube where I would make a beat from scratch. And what it started is I was just on my phone, So I had one GoPro set up on my window, and I had it a suction cup. And there was one angle coming down towards my, where I was sitting, and then the other angle I was getting was like in real time on my phone. So if you go back to the episodes, I was just recording on my phone, and I was editing in iMovie, which is like the most basic editing software that you could possibly use. So as I kept on doing that, I kind of got a feel for like the editing aspect as well, because I was editing the videos. And then later on, I started meeting people that were just kind of like, they were doing, visuals that I felt like I was, striving to do. And that's when I pretty much met the Underdogs, which is like a collective of artists, producers, and rappers who are, basically creating content that I was striving to do. And that's when I met Our Soul. And when you look at my content now, it's like a lot of it is stuff that he's making, and a lot of it is his style. So it's like he's basically allowed me to, bring some of these visions that I had to life back when it was just me and just making these pretty simple pieces of content. And aside from him, it's like just close friends that I grew up with, and my homie Irv, sitting down there. He's shooting some of my stuff. So it's like, it's a lot of people, but I think, just trying things out for yourself and creating a name for yourself is what's going to attract other individuals who are doing the same and elevate your game like that.
I like that, man. It definitely seems like you're intellectual when it comes to this. Because like I've come across all types of artists, you know what I'm saying? And everyone's style is different. Yeah. But I kind of sense the style with you is definitely like, you're yourself, you know what I'm saying? You're not trying to play a facade or be this certain way. Like, you're just you know what I'm saying? And you embrace that, and I think that's what makes you different,
Thank you.
So Watsonville, California, like, what's that like for someone that's not even from California?
Man, Watsonville, I got nothing but great things to say about Watsonville. It's like, what I like to describe Watsonville is, it's almost like you go back to your hometown in Mexico. I don't know if you ever been to like, your parents' hometown, and you go back there and you really feel like the culture, you go around the corner and you go grab like a burrito or something, or you go to your friend's house and their friend knows that friend, and you guys the majority of people in Watsonville come from two small towns in Michoacan, which is Sinapecuaro and Zamora, or like I forget the other name, but because of that, you know, that culture from, you know, being from Michoacan, I feel has carried over to Watsonville. So it's almost like a small a small town in Mexico there. You got the agriculture there, you got the cowboy culture there, and you got what was been like cultivating over the years in the 90s, which was, you know, the Impala, the Impala culture, which is
like the lowriders.
The lowrider like culture. I think that in itself is a definition of Watsonville. You know, as much as, you know, you have, it's the capital of agriculture, you know, the strawberries, the raspberries, the lettuce. Just to be able to walk around town and seeing all these things, you know, this is the, you know, the epicenter of like where all the food begins, the raw, you know, and you have these hardworking immigrants coming here trying to provide, you know, a life for their family. And they're sacrificing everything just to give their kids a better life. And I really feel like I could relate to that because like my parents came here to the US with nothing. You know? Like most immigrants, you know, they come here with nothing and they work the fields. We're talking 12 hours in 100-degree, 106-degree weather.
Rain, sun.
Yeah, so it's like
winds.
Watsonville is such a beautiful place, man. There's a lot. It's humble people there trying to make an honest living, and I feel like I took it upon myself to be that person that, you know, our parents sacrificed so much, and we have to shoot for the stars and be more than what they couldn't be because they couldn't do that. And so I want to be an inspiration to, you know, people in Watsonville that, you know, just because our parents didn't have that doesn't mean we can't strive to be, you know, something more than what they couldn't be. And I know that kind of off topic of Watsonville, but like,
no, it's real. I mean, it's all connected though, because I think the way you break it down kind of illustrates like the type of community members you'll see there. You know, a lot of Latinos out there, and you know, a lot of immigrants that are doing farm. You know, they're doing the agricultural, and there's a lot of work that goes in that, and a lot of people don't talk about that. They don't shed light on how the conditions that they deal with. Like they're not provided healthcare, they're not provided benefits. They got probably one of the lowest wages. So it's as a Latino,
it's sad.
It's unfortunate. It's sad. But to your point, they're making an honest living. And obviously, I think, you know, we can be critical about it. There definitely could be better. But I think that's what makes it Watsonville. You know, it makes it part of its culture. That's beautiful, man. And so I got to ask you, because you're Latino, you know, and you're in the hip hop space. So I got to ask, like, how did your family embrace this decision you made? And like, how did you navigate it? Because I'm just curious. Everyone's story I've asked that's Latino in the hip hop space has some type of similar story. So I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So, well, you know, as you would, you know, imagine, it's interesting to have a kid, or your son is an industrial engineer, and they get their degree and pretty much a job offering out of college, and then they're like, oh, you know what, I want to be an artist and I want to pursue this, you know. So at first, well, I remember my parents just found my YouTube like randomly, and I was already having music videos up. It might have been my second music video, and they were just kind of watching, and they were just kind of like, you know, I don't think they were very surprised because they know that I had been making beats since I was in high school. Okay. You know, so between like when I was 17 to like 21, as I was going to school, I was always actively pursuing music. It wasn't a surprise to them.
Hip hop was apparent, you know, early.
Okay. They heard me in the room, like I'd be locked inside my room just making beats for hours. You know, I wouldn't leave my room, and eventually when it got to me like rapping or singing, however you want to see it, it wasn't a surprise to them. I think, and I mean, in a bit they were just kind of like, this is you know. But now I think they're supporting it and they're backing it now because they see the hard work that I put into this, and they know that I'm very passionate about this, and they also know that I'm very practical, and that I move with intention. I don't just do things to do things. Like as I'm moving forward, like I'm aware that a profit needs to be made for this to be sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, because if I don't have money to continue to support this, this career, then it's like, how are you going to keep moving forward and providing for yourself? You know, because eventually you want to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to have to rely on anyone for anything. But in the beginning, you know, you have to figure out, you know, like how you were telling me is like, I view myself as a startup, and you have to figure out how to come up with the funds to continue moving forward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the toughest part about being an independent artist in general. Like, it's just a tough lane to navigate. Like, you have to find a way to make income. You got to present a brand or a whatever the product is, right? For people to be that invested to start spending, streaming, buying your products, your merch. You know, there's a lot of ways to go about it, but I definitely think that it's not an easy lane. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not. That's why I like it though.
Yeah.
I like a challenge. I just felt that for me, school was, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but for me it was such a system.
Yeah.
To go to the next level. You know, you study, you go to school, you pay attention in class. I was the type, I always sat in the front of the class.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's how you're gonna stay away from distractions. I did all that, and I saw the results from doing that.
Yeah.
And I was actively participating in any events that would bring me closer to, you know, an employer, right? And in a way, I felt like it wasn't fulfilling me because I felt it was too easy. I don't know if that's maybe like, oh, like not humble thing to say, but that's just how I saw the school system is. I know everyone has their own challenges when it comes to school, but for me it was just easy to focus on that and just, you know, grow in that ladder. It was almost like take this step, right? But like the way I look at music now is like there's no next step. You have to figure that out. It's like you're building this brick wall, and it's like, or better yet, brick stairs, and you have to build that, and you have to figure out, is this the lane I should go, or you start building something else. It's like there's no given path that someone's gonna say, if you do that, you will definitely get there. You know what I mean? And same goes for what you're doing. It's like there's no one on your side that's going to tell you, oh, if you do that, then that's going to take you where you need to go. Yeah. Whereas like, if that's kind of how I saw, like, you know, every day, you know, school and work is like, it's there's a formula to it. Yeah. There's no formula to this success in anything that's creative. There's no, there's just no formula for it.
To that point, I feel like it's just, it's not accessible to everyone. Like, because there is a formula, because there are, you know, big brands, there's big artists.
That's true.
That have made it out. They have figured it out. But I think when you're ground level, you're basically trial and error your way there, getting information, studying, like you said, learning from peers, having mentors, asking questions. I mean, that's how I view like my approach, like with trying to learn stuff in this lane. You know what I mean? So I definitely see that with you, because as an artist, like I think that you're learning from your influences by what they do, but you're literally on the field figuring it out though. And honestly, that's what's gonna make you more well-rounded in the long run. Because long run, you're gonna know the whole game. You're gonna be like, this is how you get it done. This is how you get it on DistroKid. This is how you get publishing. Like, So I want to ask you, this is a question I was thinking on the way. I was like, I got to ask a good question so I can make a viral clip or something. So I was like, what's the most, what's the riskiest thing you've done for your career since you've started?
That's a good question.
I was thinking about it on the way.
The riskiest thing that I've done for what I'm doing now? Yes. I mean, it's got to be, you know, just not pursuing the engineering thing and going straight into music, because like I said, I already had something lined up. Like, it was like the life was almost secured, you know, at that point. I totally, you know, put that to the side, and I was like, I'm gonna just sacrifice everything and put this on the line. That was the biggest, you know, gamble that I could ever take, because it's like, as I continue to progress in this music stuff, it's like I'm slowly gonna like forget some of the things that I learned, and it might not be as applicable. I might not be as maybe reliable on the workforce. I mean, Though that doesn't mean I don't think I could get a job,
Yeah.
but it's like I have to go every week figuring out how I'm gonna fund the next project.
Yeah.
And that comes with like I have to figure out the show situation, the pay for it, the merch. But I think you're probably like looking for like a specific moment.
No, I think, but I mean that is a risk though. Like you have your career lined up. I'm assuming a 6-figure income. Like depending on the company,
it pretty much gets there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Anything engineer in general, you know what I'm saying, is gonna be a high paying job in my opinion. So I think that is insane. Because my question to you after that is, like, how old are you?
I'm 25.
So, all right, young man. No, just kidding. You're a young man. That's a good thing. That means that you, and maybe you don't view it like this. Maybe you have, but you have the ability to take that risk because you know, if you fail, not saying you will, because I don't think you will. I think you're on the way, right? But let's just pretend you fail. Like you still have 5 years in your 20s to do that if you decided to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's where your mind's at. You know what I'm saying?
The way I look at things is, like I said, I'm very practical. Yeah. I don't drop a song with the thought that like, oh man, I'm gonna blow up after this, or I'm not gonna drop a project with the thought like I'm gonna blow up with this. You know, I think a lot of artists have that mentality, like they really think they're gonna blow up off of like one thing. Like the way that this industry works, or at least as an independent, from what I see, is like you have to just keep on dropping and quality and good. So it's like I don't want to, just because I have this in the back, I don't want to think like, oh, I have this to fall back on. Like I don't, when you have all these plans to fall back on, it's like you're never going to go 100% on that one thing. Yeah. You know? And so I strategize, and every year I think, how am I going to be better than I was last year? Like I said, like I'm very analytical at everything that I do, down to the numbers. I look at the numbers and I see, am I growing or am I not? Am I falling back? And I'm very real with myself.
Is it making sense? Is it not making sense? Yeah.
And
that's good. That's self-awareness.
Yeah. And it's like, if I'm failing, it's good because it's telling me you're slacking on something. So figure out how to be better at that and figure out how to improve that. So I think I'm going to just keep moving forward with this and seeing it through and giving it my all. And, you know, if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. But, you know, I'm a strong believer that, you know, you decide what your fate is. You put in the work and you're going to get back what what you're supposed to get from that.
What you put in the universe will return.
Exactly.
I believe in good and bad karma.
Yeah.
So we're in San Jose. This is the Emlyn Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and Spotify and YouTube. Make sure you're still tuning in. That's what I'm trying to say. Make sure you're still tuning in. So San Jose, we are here right now. Like, what's something about San Jose? Obviously, you told me about your background going to school out here. Like, what's one of the like interesting memories about San Jose that always stood out to you, or maybe something in general about San Jose that's different?
I think the main difference between when I look at San Jose, obviously I'm gonna compare it to Watsonville. Yeah. Like because that's where I'm born and raised, right? Yeah. So the main thing that I take away from San Jose is it's a lot more fast paced. You know, the lifestyle is fast. You got a lot of people. Rent is gonna be expensive. I mean, it's expensive everywhere these days. But the majority of people, you know, around here, they work like two, 3 jobs maybe. So it's like here, you know, it's just everyone has somewhere to be. You know, it's the Silicon Valley. Yeah. Everyone's got to do something to survive. But I kind of really like that. It really like being out here just kind of opened a new like thought and a space for me to collaborate. And I think being out here was the reason why I started, you know, recording music, because when I was living out here, I bought my mic and on all that stuff, and there was artists that wanted to record, and it was because of those artists that I decided to buy my mic, and I decided to learn how to engineer audio so that I can, be informed and not only produce but engineer for them at the same time. So it's like, and being out here also just kind of just taught me that there's more to, your daily schedule than, what you have. Because when you're at home, you have everything is given to you, right? You have like the food and all that. But when you're out here by yourself, you have to figure out how you're going to continue to survive and how you're going to continue to grow based on what you have and the way that you're living. It brought more structure to the way that I approach my daily basis. So it's like going back to Watsonville, I just brought all of that with me. But I mean, like in terms of experiences, the shows here have been dope. I performed at a couple different venues out here.
Yeah. Which ones?
I first started off at Liquid.
Oh, nice.
And then I did Fuse, and then I did. It's not a venue for performing, but it's right across the street from Fuse. It's called Skewers and Brew.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And so we started like this ongoing thing. We were just having small events, and like as we were going, we just started packing out the place to the point where it was like a safety hazard.
They're like, y'all gotta find a venue for this.
Yeah, but like now these days in San Jose, I'm just trying to like expand. I feel like there's more spots here in San Jose that I just don't know about. I don't know, like there's got to be more places here that I can perform at. But
for sure.
Yeah, those, and then I think the most memorable nights that I've had here are just like in the library. When I was going to school, I was there I was there overnight,
Yeah.
And it just made me realize that in order to get to where I want to be, it's just going to be like late nights, like early mornings, late nights.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
So it's like,
so you kind of felt because you were at SJSU 4 years?
3
years. So you kind of saw 3 years of like the fast pacedness. You kind of seen it in real time.
Yeah.
What year was this?
Okay, so I graduated when I was like 22, I want to say. I graduated like mid-pandemic because I didn't even get to walk on the graduation.
Yeah.
So I want to say 2023. I graduated like 2020, 2021. So I might have been 22, 23 around that time. And that's like pretty much when I started to take, recording more seriously because I didn't drop my first single until 2 years ago. And ever since then, I've just been dropping nonstop. 2021. Yeah.
Okay, so you're still rolling into the game.
Very fresh.
Hey, but you're hitting the ground running though. Seems like it.
I'm trying, but it's like the whole. I wouldn't have gotten here if it weren't for like the beats and all the engineering that I've done and the photography and the videography. It's like that's why I feel like I've had I'm still slowly growing, but I feel like it's been steady because of the foundation that I created way before I was even doing this.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right? Yeah. You got to start building your relationships, providing value to other people, and then hopefully, there's collaboration and partnerships along that way.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to try my best to turn this around as fast as possible. So, what is the any upcoming projects that you're working on, singles, anything that's coming up that you want people to anticipate?
I actually got a lot. First off, I just dropped 2 projects. One was called Outside, collaboration with a Santa Cruz artist and Dog the Beast. And then I just dropped another project called Felt That Volume 1. And then what's coming next is I actually have a lot of songs with San Jose artists.
Hey, okay, let's hear some names, man. We want to hear them names.
I got a song with Khalil, if you guys know Khalil.
Hey, shout out Khalil.
I got a song with 2 songs with Vanessa Vendel.
Okay.
I got a song with Alden and Brev.
Nice.
That crew. So I haven't asked them yet, but I want to drop a project because I already have 2 songs and then 2 with Vanessa. That's 4. Another 5th one. That's another project right there. I want to call it Forever V because that's the name of their group. It's Forever. It's cool because I just dropped the project.
Yeah.
My other homeboy from Florida is called Still V.
Okay.
Moving forward, Forever V. I think it'll be cool. And, then the song with Khalil. And then I have a project. It's going to be called East Lake Boy. It's going to be coming out on May 25th. And I feel like that's going to be like, I wouldn't say it's like my big project, but it's like a defining project for me because it'll be like a full-length Everything that I've dropped prior to that has always been like a 5-track thing.
Yeah.
I'm mainly like a single kind of guy. Just keep dropping singles
Yeah.
every 2 weeks, and I think just doing that.
It's consistency.
It's a consistency thing, and you're gonna build a lot more streams because
yeah.
They talk. A lot of artists talk about it. When you drop full bodies, it's like as you get to the lower track, the streams decrease.
Yeah. That sounds something like Russ said.
Russ said.
For sure. But that's the right strategy though, because it really is true. Like people are not gonna tune into a whole album. They're gonna tune into like the first slaps that you pull out. You know what I'm saying? So that's the right strategy though, for sure.
What I was gonna say is, though I feel like these projects that I've been putting out were almost just like a test, like to see, the
engagement.
The engagement between me and my audience. I see them a lot. They're the type that they'll listen through everything.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's dope.
I've dropped probably like after April will be like five pieces. So that's like
nice
5 songs plus the singles that I've done. And then so like now that I kind of figured out, okay, this is what they like, this is what they kind of don't like. Now I have this body of work that I've been developing over the time, and I feel like it's just gonna be, when you think of artists, it's like they came out with that first or that, and then followed it up. So it's like for me, that's gonna be my first debut. I'm not gonna call it album; it's just my first debut mixtape.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna be like 12, 13 pieces, and I called it East Lake Boy because East Lake is the street that I grew up on in Watsonville. And ever since I grew up, it's just been a street that I've lived in. I've lived in 3 different neighborhoods in Watsonville, and they were always adjacent to East Lake. And East Lake is just a really big street that I feel most people live in. It's the center. It's pretty much the heart of Watsonville. As soon as you get into Watsonville, coming from there's this hill. It's called Mount Madonna.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever gone on it.
No, gotta go.
It's really, you can see all of Watsonville from the top. You should go.
Damn.
On a sunny day, you can see all of Watsonville and a little bit of Monterey and Santa Cruz.
Sounds like a nice vibey spot.
Yeah, if you guys are ever trying to catch a view, top of Mount Madonna. But as soon as you get down, you're on East Lake all the way down until you get to the downtown area. So I really want to just, when I do this promo roll, I really want to keep it very hometown kind of feeling. Just keep pushing the message that I'm trying to do, which is not only like put on for my hometown, but show to others that we came from like an immigrant background, and I'm trying to shoot for more. Because I'm trying to shoot for more, you should do the same too. So I feel like setting this bar and dropping constantly every 2 weeks, I can see that it's put pressure on like other individuals around town who are trying to make music and be like, yo, Danny, we got to do it too. And we're trying to drop quality like Danny. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to set the bar so that everyone can follow along, and then you start to see more, producers, artists, videographers coming out of Watsonville and doing this. And it's like, I'm trying to also create a different sound coming from the town, because like most towns, kind of like Latino bases. When you get Latino based rappers, they kind of make a specific type of sound. Right? And there's nothing wrong with it, because that's their lane. That's what they sound like. But when you hear like music coming from a town, you'll think of a majority. So I want to be that outlier from the majority who's making, a combination of pop, rap, and R&B. Because there's probably someone who's done it before me. I don't know who they were, but I want to be that person who's doing their own thing with production and engineering and videos, and just trying to build it from the ground up.
Hey man, that's beautiful, and I'm looking forward to the project. We'll make sure we give you a headline on Emlyn. We're gonna keep that promotion rolling out. Quick question, if you can answer it in 10 seconds. What is a song that everyone should listen to from the project?
Listen to my most recent song, Sundown, produced by my boy Osco or Roscoe. That's a big song. But from the project, there's a single that I dropped a while back. It's called Cold Heart. You should go bump that. It's a big song.
Beautiful, man. DannyV at the Emlyn Labs in downtown San Jose. Any last minute message to the viewers tuning in that made it this far?
You got a goal. chasing it. Don't stop. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do.
And your IG handles?
That's DannyV on everything. Everything. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That's DannyV.
Love it, man. Well, first and foremost, thank you.
Hey.
It was a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? We'll definitely be connecting more. It ain't exclusive. If it ain't an M1 exclusive, it's your boy BQ. And we out. Peace. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, hold up. Is it cool if we get a flick right here, bro?
Yeah, go ahead. It's all good.